Christmas Eve 2008. Tesla was 2 days from missing payroll. One investor had refused to sign the remaining crucial page. Elon Musk had nothing left. Most people know the surface version of this story. 3 failed rocket launches, a 4th that worked, a NASA contract, Tesla funding that closed just in time. What almost never gets told is how specific the near failure was. Not vague financial pressure, not general uncertainty. One investor, one unsigned page, then a 72-hour window, NASA on the 23rd, Tesla's deal on Christmas Eve, when everything Elon Musk has ever built almost ceased to exist. This is that version. When Musk wrote the last check that kept Tesla alive in December 2008, he did not believe it would save the company. He has said this explicitly. He wrote that check while thinking Tesla would still probably fail. The only reason he did it was so the company would not die for certain. Maybe live instead of definitely die. That single detail changes the entire meaning of the moment. This was not a confident founder making a calculated bet. This was a man who had already lost the argument with the math and was writing the check anyway. The company he was trying to save had already burned through roughly $140 million against an original budget of $25 million. The Roadster, Tesla's first car, had massively overrun every projection. At the exact same moment, General Motors and Chrysler were heading into bankruptcy. Raising money for an electric car startup while the American auto industry was collapsing was nearly impossible. And Musk was writing a personal check to try anyway, while believing it probably wouldn't work. Here is the detail most coverage omits entirely. At the point Musk was funding Tesla's survival round, he owned almost nothing, no house, nothing left to sell. He had already put the last of his PayPal proceeds into Tesla and SpaceX. He was borrowing money from friends to pay rent. He continued living off personal loans into 2009. This was not a billionaire risking excess capital. Most people picture Musk in 2008 as a wealthy entrepreneur taking a calculated risk. This was a man with no financial floor, betting everything on 2 companies simultaneously, one of which he believed would probably still fail after the check cleared. That context changes what the next 72 hours actually cost him. The Tesla funding round almost collapsed in the final hours because of one man. Musk had scraped together roughly $20 million, including proceeds from the sale of his cousin's company Everdream, which Dell had acquired. He asked existing investors to match it. Most agreed. But Vantage Point Capital Partners, led by Alan Salzman, signed every page of the term sheet except one critical page. When Musk called, Salzman claimed the round undervalued Tesla and demanded a meeting the following week. Musk had days of cash left. He asked to meet the next day. Salzman refused. Musk believed Salzman was trying to force Tesla into bankruptcy, push him out as CEO, and take control. The two had been at odds for months. Salzman wanted Tesla to become a battery supplier to legacy car makers like Chrysler. Musk refused. So Musk made 2 moves simultaneously. He restructured the entire financing as a debt round instead of equity, making it harder for Vantage Point to block. And he bluffed. He told investors he would fund the full round himself, including with a loan from SpaceX. SpaceX was still on the edge, and he was using its new NASA contract as leverage. The claim that he would cover the entire round himself was the pressure play. But the bluff worked. The pressure forced the deal through. The paperwork closed at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, the last hour of the last possible day. Investors were already leaving town for the holidays. Payroll would have bounced 2 days later. Here is the connection most coverage misses entirely. The 2 companies did not survive independently. They survived because of each other. On December 23rd, one day before the Tesla round closed, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion commercial resupply services contract. That contract was the lifeline that kept SpaceX viable. Musk immediately used SpaceX's new financial position to help keep Tesla alive. He borrowed from SpaceX to support Tesla in those final days. The survival of one directly propped up the other. SpaceX had money for essentially one more Falcon 1 launch when the 4th succeeded in September. A 5th failure would have ended the company entirely. The NASA contract that followed gave SpaceX enough runway to survive. Tesla's payroll would have bounced without the funding round that closed Christmas Eve. 72 hours, two companies, both dependent on decisions made in the same window. Everything that came after, every Tesla on every road, every SpaceX rocket, Starlink, Starship, XAI, Optimus, Terrafab, traces back to decisions made in that window when both companies had almost nothing left. There is one more layer that almost never makes it into the story. While all of this was happening, Musk was also going through a public and difficult divorce. He has called 2008 the worst year of his life. He later described waking up the Sunday before Christmas and realizing he was closer to a nervous breakdown than he had ever thought possible. People close to him were worried. Friends and family described extreme stress, long hours, poor health, and real fear that the pressure could break him physically. Nightmares, exhaustion, personal life collapsing at the same time the companies were collapsing. And still, the check, the bluff, the debt restructuring, the phone call to Salzman. The image most people carry of Musk in 2008 is confident founder making bold bets. The reality documented by the people around him was something closer to a person operating under pressure that most people never experience, and choosing to keep going anyway. This is Gated. Subscribe. The next door opens soon.